It's Carter Man, and welcome to Coffee with Carter, president of Constitutional Rights PAC. As many of you know, those of you who follow me on social media or subscribe to my daily feed, the Daily Update, where we get to talk about a lot of issues that are not being properly discussed in the media, as you can well imagine. So grab your coffee or favorite beverage, and let's do this thing. Let's do this podcast. Today, we do not have a guest interview. We will next week, but not today because I have three important topics I want to talk to you about. Very important topics. And as I discuss them, I'm going to be the man of many hats. Okay, you'll see what I mean by that in just a minute. And I'm going to try and keep it all within a half an hour. Okay, so first we're going to do a review of the news, and then we're going to which are like three items, and then we're going to finish up with a prediction, which I think you're going to find kind of fascinating because it's a long-term prediction, and there's only one way. It's a foreboding prediction as well, I think. And there's only one way to make it not come true, and that's the final hat I'll put on. So let's get started here. First, I want to talk about. You get my first hat. I think you're going to say that is definitely apropos. My Waffle House hat. I love this hat. I bought this hat from the fast order cook at the Waffle House in Hagerstown, Maryland, for $5. I saw it and I said, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. Why Waffle House, you might say? Well, actually, it's one of my favorite restaurants, which kind of says something about my lifestyle, doesn't it? But also because of its reputation for fights. Okay, some of you might have heard the old joke, about what's the difference between Denny's and Waffle House, and the answer is, well, Denny's is kind of like Waffle House without the fights. So I love Waffle House, the fights. And I want to pick a fight today with a guy who I hope you never see in a Waffle House hat, because he has never earned it and he never will. And that is Little Mikey Johnson. Little Mikey Johnson. Or as I sometimes call him now, Little Mikey Pelosi, okay? Little Mikey Pelosi, because there is not a dime's worth of difference between the two. When it comes to policy, he is Little Mikey Pelosi. He doesn't fight for anything we believe in. He has sold us out on every issue. FISA, here's a man who said he was against FISA, and then he pushed it through, allowing warrantless search and seizure of the American people, kind of like a violation of the Fourth Amendment, right? But so what? To Little Mikey, that means nothing. Okay, he sold us out. Then comes the Ukrainian aid bill, which he vowed to us that he would. How did he put it? The funding bill, the $68 billion tax dollars to be handed to Zelensky, was dead on arrival, is the way Little Mikey put it. Till it came time to vote, and then Little Mikey voted for it and pushed it through. And I especially hate what he told the press. I think it's almost blasphemous that he wrestled with it in prayer all through the night before, and God told him to pass it through, to betray the American people's trust, to betray. God told Little Mikey Pelosi to betray the people's trust. Let me tell you, from a theological standpoint, the problem I have with that. Little Mikey's a liar. Okay? My father was a Methodist minister, and he used to help people understand when sometimes they'd come to him and tell him that God told them to do things which were bizarre. I mean, he even had one who said God had told him to have an affair. Because God is love and that he loved the woman and he does horse hockey. And Dad would explain that here's a little guideline for you. God, when he speaks to you, and I think he does speak to you, will never tell you to do something that is contrary to what is written in, let me grab it here, this book. This book. This is called the Bible, the Bible. If it's not in this book, God is not going to tell you to do it, and he certainly is not going to tell you to do something this book says don't do. This book, little Mikey, says do not lie. This book says do not deceive those around you. This book says do not betray the trust of those around you. It's all in the book, little Mikey. It's all in there. The book that little Mikey tells us he follows all the time. And he puts on his little meek face and he follows. No, you don't, little Mikey. You're a liar. Because God did not, when you were wrestling with him in prayer the night before you betrayed the American people, tell you that that was what you needed to do. Okay? So, from a theological point, he's wrong and he's a liar. From a political point, he's wrong and he's a liar. Okay? And that's what we're stuck with. That's what we're stuck with. That's why your Constitutional Rights PAC is fighting tooth and nail to elect a 20-seat majority, MAGA majority in the House, which will immediately get rid of little Mikey. Immediately get rid of little Mikey. Install, I'm going to tell you, I'd like to see, some of you are going to go, oh my God. Well, go, oh my God, but this is who Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's honest. She is forthright, definitely, and she's one of us. So we'll see what happens, okay? We'll see what happens. So here's what little Mikey did. He joined up with these people, okay? He joined up with these people, and those are all tax dollars, by the way. Those are all your tax, 68 billion tax dollars that those little monsters just handed to this little monster. Pretty, I feel pretty and witty and gay, and I feel sorry for anyone who isn't dancing with me in their high heels today. Please stop. 68 billion. Let me tell you what's going to happen to that 68 billion, just so you'll know. This, our favorite little dancer here, is going to steal probably 3 to 4 billion of it. Just steal it outright. He's got 5 mansions already: Alexandria, Egypt, France, London, if Miami, where else I can't remember. So he might want a couple more, or just put some money away for when he makes his escape from Ukraine, which is inevitable, because Ukraine cannot win and has not been able to win since the beginning. I've told you that. So you have for 3 to 4 billion there. Then his generals. Remember, this is the most corrupt country in the world. We'll steal another 10 between them, at least. Now, they're saying 28 is coming back to the U.S. to go to the military-industrial complex. Double that. Please double that. And there's nothing left for the soldiers they're sending out, untrained young people and elderly people now into Ukraine. They're sending out into a meat grinder because our State Department, those who run our State Department, hate Vlad Putin. That's it. They betrayed the Minsk agreements. They staged the coup, the illegal coup of Victoria Nuland that overthrew the elected government to install the little dancer in there. And so then for 8 years, they shelled the Donbass, killed 14,000 people, till Putin said enough. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of being taken advantage of. I'm tired of seeing these Russian-speaking people slaughtered by Nazis and the folks who were in the regimes leading up to Zelensky. And so we're going to move in and rescue these people. That's what really happened. That's what really happened. And our State Department, some of the most disgusting people in the world, liars, Sullivan, Kirby, Blinken, saw an opportunity to try and destroy Russia. Didn't work out too well, did it? And so here we are stuck in the war, another 68 billion tax dollars, which will be stolen by the crooks, the oligarchs in Ukraine, and sent back to feed the military-industrial complex, okay? So that's where we are. That's where we are on that part of the news. We can try to deny it all, but the evidence is all there. We contrived a war in order to try to destroy Russia, and Russia said, no, thank you. In fact, we're going to rescue our own people in the Donbass, okay? And this 68 billion, I was just watching Tony Schaefer be interviewed by Judge Napolitano. He says it's not going to make a bit of difference. One thing, the money's coming too late for another. The F-16s are no match for Russia now. And Russia's going through one town after another. Probably, his little prediction for you, probably will take Odessa. I don't have much doubt about that, but they don't want Kiev. They don't want Ukraine. They're not going to take Ukraine. They're not going to take Kiev. I think if you watch, you may see Poland take part of Western Ukraine. Yeah, oh yeah. And Hungary take the Hungarian section. I think that's, and the United States simply won't care. And by the way, the 68 billion, one of the top generals in our army said this is just going to help them for 1 year. Now what would be happening in that 1 year? Oh, that's right, an election. So little Mikey Pelosi just also helped out Joe Biden. Thank you, little Mikey Pelosi. A horrible mistake that guy was. And I said it from the beginning. Those of you who have followed me on Daily Update at the CRPAC, ConstitutionalRightsPAC.com, you know, I said from the beginning, I don't trust this man. Anyone whose own stepson will not endorse you and support you when you become speaker. There's something wrong here. Something ain't right. Okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene said he was blackmailed. I think she's probably right. I think the men in black did it from the deep state. The men in black from the deep state. Okay, and I'm going to show you my graphic on that in just a minute as we move on to another topic. And that is immigration. But not just the fact that all these people are coming over. Okay? Here's a picture. Hello. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Look at them. Oh, you know, for people who are starving and can't make it in their own countries, there sure are a lot of healthy-looking men in there, aren't there? Yeah. Probably of the 11 million that Biden and Christopher Wray, have brought in, 11 million, I'd say probably 7 to 8 million are able-bodied people. Let me make it clear, I'm not against immigration. You get my Guido hat here. I'm Italian. I'm an Italian, son of an Italian immigrant. My mother came from Italy, Italiano, okay? Eleonora Maria Marciano. You can't get much more Italian than that. She came over on the spaghetti boat, for God's sake. But when they got here, when my people got here, we did not keep our own language. We did not isolate ourselves in our own culture. Okay? We became Americans. Americans, okay? Okay? It's my Guido hat. I love it. That's an Italian. It's a nice quarter, okay? It's my grandfather used to say it to me all the time. He's a nice boy, yeah, okay. He had a hat like that, the grandfather Marciano. Reggio Calabria, I want to get that in there. I'm very proud of that. You can't be more hard-headed than Reggio Calabrians. That's what they're known as in Italy. But they still came here and assimilated and acculturated and acclimatized. They're not doing it. They're not doing it, and they're not going to do it. They have no intention, which brings me to a key point here, and that's my prediction, but I'm not going to give it to you right now. I'm going to give it to you at the end. Here's the point I want to make that's so important here, okay, about these people. I told you, look close at these people. Look close at these people, almost all able-bodied men. And we're being told all these Latinos are coming across the border. I don't think so. Let me show you a picture here. Remember, in everything I'm going to say, remember, my wife is a Latina. She is Honduran. She's been here 6 years. She looks like she just got off the banana boat. Now, I'm not going to show you a picture because I don't trust the U.S. government, and I'm not going to endanger her life. But I want to show you a picture that occurred to me one day when she and I were having Thanksgiving dinner with some Pakistani friends, and she's sitting in the living room with them, and it occurred to me, I can't tell the difference between what they look like and what my wife looks like. Black hair, brown eyes, and olive skin. Well, let me show you a picture. And these are the kind of people that are coming across the border. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you something very important that is totally at the feet, and it's what they did intentionally with Joe Biden and Christopher Wray. This guy is Latino, okay? He's a Latino. I went in, Googled Latino male with beard. That's him. That's him. See this one here? See this one here? See this guy here? His name is not Jose or Juan. His name is Abdul or Mohammed. He's an Arab. And we had no screening at our border for 3 years now. I want you to look at those and just ponder how many hundreds of thousands of this guy came across making believe he was this guy. And what is this guy up to now? Okay, okay. Just asking. Just asking. Think there might be some sleeper cells? Remember the sleeper cells that the World Trade Center bombers were in? All their visas had expired. Some of them were even illegal aliens. No screening at the border. So as long as Abdul keeps his mouth shut, everybody thinks he is Jose. That's where we are, folks, thanks to Christopher Wray. And then Christopher Wray comes before Congress about a month ago now, saying he's an arrogant, snotty little smarmy, smart-aleck guy. We're going to have riots this summer. All the red lights have gone off. Arrogant as he can be, smug. He's a rich guy. He always has been. He's a rich diaper boy. And they just expect, we don't know what's going to happen with terrorism this summer. We're expecting terrorism and gang wars. Well, two things. One, the reason we have these people, all of these, Mr. Wray, is because you teamed up with Biden to allow them in. Okay? You teamed up with Joe Biden to bring them in. Ta-da! Yeah. So, and how come, if this has been going on, this, which he knows has been going on because he helped cause it, for 3 years, did he just discover a month ago in, what would that be, March of 2024, that all this was going on and say it was time to issue a warning? Folks, I don't believe in hyperbole, but neither do I believe in happenstance. The reason Christopher Wray, one of the most dangerous, vile man in America today, announced that was not really to warn us about it. It was what I used to do a lot of TV script writing, infomercials and such. We had foreshadowing. We'd plant a little something here because we knew what we were going to add later. What is 2024? What sets it apart, let's say, from 2023 when he knew all these people, that he was bringing in all these people? What sets it apart from 2021 when he knew he was bringing in all these people? Oh, that's right. It's an election year. Well, lo and behold, what if Trump is way ahead come summer, the hot days of summer, the dog days of summer, and they need to do something to declare martial law? Or maybe just to say we can't have the polls open at all. Everything has to be by ballot. Which, by the way, in Pennsylvania and other states now, you don't have to verify signatures on, or by drop boxes, where the left goes out and gathers the ballots and deposits them. Now, there's nobody watching where they get them from or what they do with them in the transit. So what happens if Mr. Ray's troops, yes, I said it, decide to riot this summer? The terrorist he brought in, that's Abdul on the left there. What happens if they unleash their horrors this summer and they have to declare martial law? And Ray can say, that's why I went before Congress and told everybody. Yeah, you told everybody because you were laying the groundwork for it. And then guess what toxic Joe Biden has to declare? We can't have an election with all this going on. Well, they can't have an election because Trump may be too far ahead. Sound like hyperbole? I actually don't think so. And if it does happen, I don't think it'll be happenstance. I think everything is laid, the groundwork's being laid for it. And here's how it works. Let me give you my graphic as how it works nowadays, folks. Okay? You see what we have there? The men in black from the deep state, the same ones that visited little Mikey. There I have them pouring their garbage into the vacuous head of Joe Biden. Then he babbles out what he's told, just as our boy little Mikey Pelosi cast the votes he was told. So there we go. There we go. There's how it's done nowadays, folks. There's who's in control nowadays. It's kind of a frightening thought, isn't it? The men in black go around and give the orders, and the politicians, with their vacuous heads, perform as told. I'm telling you, that's where we are right now. I'm telling you, that's where we are right now. Okay? Think about it. Think about the bizarre things being done in this country. And who benefits from them? The ruling elite. The ruling elite. Because the worse things get, the more power they have. And they are the deep state. They are the men in black. Okay? That's where we are. That's where we are. That's where we are. That's why the election of this guy, my final hat here, is so confound important, and why they hate him so much, and why the men in black have poured their garbage into the heads of district attorneys and judges all over the country now against Donald Trump. 91 counts. Come on, give me a break. And look what they just did in Arizona. Suddenly, out of nowhere, their top law enforcement officials decided to indict 18 people because they questioned an election result. Where do you think those instructions came from? If you don't believe it now, was it they believe me now or believe me later? That's And that's why the election, that's why it's CPAC, CRPAC, your Constitutional Rights PAC, we're fighting so hard for this man's election. I'll get to a little bit more of that in just a minute. First, let me get to my prediction, because we're running out of time. We only got 5 minutes for it. And it involves these people, the masses that I just showed you, these coming here. They're okay, Biden led in 11 million illegal aliens. Remember, everything I'm saying here is based upon the fact, don't say, what a racist, a xenophobic. I am married to a Latina, and mine is not one of those you look at and say, you sure she's from Central America? You look at my wife, if I could show you a picture, which I'm not going to do, you'd say, she's definitely from Central America. Yeah, beautiful Latina girl. So don't the liberals who might be watching this, don't pull out your racist crap hole. I don't want to hear it. So all these people have come in, 11 million of them. They've joined 30 million that are already here. That's just the way it is. So we probably have 30 to 40 million illegal aliens here. Well, mostly Latinos. We have the terrorists they let in as well, but mostly Latinos. And let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm telling you, I'm going to get, this is a 10-year prediction. Let me take a sip of my beverage here. It's a 10-year prediction. 10 years. In 10 years, I explained this to my wife the other day. We were laying in bed having our morning coffee. And I explained to her, in 10 years, Latinos in this country are going to form their own nation. Just be prepared, folks. Be prepared. They have nothing in common with us. They don't have our culture in common with us. They all come from Latino cultures, okay? Which, trust me, I have a home there. I lived in Honduras for a year. It's very different from ours. Different language, different color, to be honest with you. Whole different attitude on life. Whole different attitude on life. I call it the pollo factor. Why? Well, if you looked out my window, next door are Mexicans, who I love, Juan and his family, and they raise chickens. I live in the city. It's illegal. And the Gestapo, has knocked on their door already, told them, no, you can't have chickens. And you know what Jose and his family, Juanita, said? No entiendo. No entiendo. That knock on the door was 2 months ago. They still have their chickens. I could show you a hilarious video of my wife chasing one of their chickens around our yard and throwing him back over the fence. You still have them. It's the pollo factor, because the Latino mentality is, why do you have a law if he's not important? If he's not necessary. The law against the chickens is not necessary, so they just ignore it. But it goes way beyond that, because they also ignore traffic laws. Remember, I have a home there. I've driven there. Oh, my God. A street light and a stop sign mean nothing to these people. Pedestrians, well, their car's bigger, so they run over you if you walk in front of their car. They don't abide by laws they don't see as necessary. It's just not their culture. Now, one of those laws, which I think is wonderful, is paying taxes. I have a home that's worth about $300,000 in Honduras. Our property taxes are, I think, $25 or $50 a year. If you don't pay it, you don't pay it. So that's where we're going. They're going to have Biden thinks they're going to vote Democrat. They're not going to vote at all, because they don't care. They don't care what the government says. Their mind is to where they came from, where they don't have all these nuisance laws. They don't have OSHA. They don't have all these nanny bureaucrats running around telling them what to do, okay? They don't have a deep state. They don't have a surveillance state. And they're not going to have one here, and they're going to form their own nation. And let me close with this thought. Watch and see what happens to the rest of us when they have that 40 million block. And they're multiplying pretty quick, so maybe 50 million in 10 years or more. Their own nation, their own laws, or not laws, Um, those of us, we gringos, are they going to be oppressive to us? No, they're going to do what they do with me when I'm down there. They're going to ignore you. Yeah, they look at gringos as people who, yeah, they did build a great country at one time, but now they're kind of useless, which happens to be true. As a matter of fact, we're a nuisance. We're a nuisance, to be honest with you. You know, we've turned our power over to the deep state, and whether and the local level and state level, deep state as well as the federal deep state. They're going to know us. The Arabs and Asians, I think they don't even know they exist, from what I can see. And remember, I'm part of their culture because my wife is. And blacks, they don't buy into this. You owe us. They don't buy into reparations. You know, I think Raul's attitude is, no, I didn't make you a slave. I wasn't even here. Okay? So, folks, there's some big changes coming. Now, there's one way to prevent that independent nation, essentially a cultural secession, and that's if this guy's elected and we make some rules that say, folks, you need to learn our language, you need to learn our traditions, you need to learn about our culture. You can't send 40 million back, folks. Forget that part. But you can put some rules out that you become Americans. Americans, okay? So that's a solution. That's a solution. Otherwise, watch my prediction unfold over the next couple of years and be fully fulfilled within 10. That brings me to my final point, and that is a direct appeal. Folks, your Constitutional Rights PAC is in this fight. We're at the forefront of the fight. We're not part of the what I call conservative Inc. in Washington, who take your money, have lavish quarters, and all kinds of fest for each other. We don't do that. We just fight. We just fight. Where's my Waffle House at? We just fight on your behalf. And so I'm asking you now, help us win this fight on your behalf. Everything I've talked about, we can win this fight. We can elect the 20 MAGA Republican majority in the House. We can elect the 5 seats, 6 MAGA Republican MAGA majority in the Senate. We can make sure Donald Trump becomes president because we're fighters. So I'm asking you to give as much as you can, $100, $50, $25, and together, let's get in this fight, bare knuckle it, be at the forefront, and let's together let's do this thing.